go. All right, welcome, good people, to Good Brothers Talking Michigan Sports. Today, we're going to talk about just overall where Michigan is offensively, defensively. We're going to talk about Maryland and Michigan State. And then, if time permits, we may even talk about Michigan basketball, which we'll be discussing coming up here soon. Just waiting for some more competitive games, because right now they're playing teams I've never heard of. So, but let's get started, Greg. Let's start with the offense. We've had 10 games. So let's see where we are. What do you think the offense, how it's doing? You know, Harbaugh made that prediction that the offense is getting ready to click, and we're about to see an explosive offense. The last couple games we've had 38 points and 44 points. So he knew something, I guess, the world didn't see. So
right.
Give it to me, Greg.
Well, basically, the total offense, we're 7th in the Big Ten, and our scoring offense is 6th. So, like he said, Harbaugh knew something. I guess that's the benefit of being in practice and seeing your team progress as the weeks carry on. Looks like, Josh Gaddis is starting to, really get this thing going and running or whatnot. I kind of knew it was going to take some time, but boy, they're really moving in the right direction. We're going to talk in depth about the Michigan State game, but I got some shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Shea Patterson, give a shout out to Ronnie Bell, give a shout out to Peoples Jones, Nico Collins, the tight ends, the offensive line, the 2 rookie wide receivers. I mean, everything just seemed to click. I was very impressed with the game plans and things of that nature. But I just kind of want to go into a little synopsis here as it pertains to the offense. This was perhaps Michigan's most impressive performance of the season. The Wolverines scored on 8 consecutive possessions with drives that gained 68 yards, 98, 50, 57, 34, 22, 29, and 74 yards, with the latter of the 2 starting in MSU's territory. The play calling emphasized attacking horizontally, as Michigan's orbit motion threatened the edge and led to some easy chunks of bubble screens, passes in the flat. The Wolverines haven't ever had this type of offensive success against Dan Antonio, and it's been 13 years where Dan Antonio has had his way. But this time, Michigan just kind of showed out. They attacked with aggression. And, I can honestly say, after the second quarter, I was comfortable. They seemed confident about the game plan in its entirety.
Shea seemed confident too. His passes were crisp. There were a couple that passes that were he overthrew receivers, but I mean, just the confidence he had. I mean, it was just pouring out of him. So some of those passes, I was like, wow, where was this early on? But again, things take time. It's getting more comfortable with the system, new coordinator. So it's clicking at the right time, because we got some tough games coming up.
Exactly. Okay, Shea Patterson, he was 24 for 33, with a total of 384 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ronnie Bell, 9 catches for 150 yards. I mean, he has really been showing out. Ever since that drop, it just seemed like he just had some confidence that, is really showing, how effective a route runner he is. So I'm extremely impressed with Ronnie Bell. But hey, you got Donovan Peoples-Jones been playing really tough and hard. Nico Collins. I mean, the tight, like I said, just the list goes on and on in regards to this offense really progressing. It makes you wonder, if Jim hadn't made this decision to change coordinators, where would we be right now?
Right.
I mean, you're understanding that Michigan, this isn't the Michigan of old. This is the Michigan of new, and they're adapting to what college football has to offer now. And they spread things out. I mean, it's getting to the point now where we can throw the ball or we can run the ball. But we're going to make it work for us. We're going to throw it at you, these defenses out in the Big Ten, and we're going to see if you can adjust, as opposed to we're trying to adjust. So it was just a great game. Game plan for the the offense, I give it an A+. I thought the offensive line was excellent pass protection. More throws to Nico Collins. I mean, it's just like he can make those 50 catches. And it just seems like, even if he doesn't catch the ball, there's a penalty and it's in our favor. So most definitely. Nordine surprised me too with his field goal efficiency. And only got a few cons in regards to starting slow. That's something I think Michigan has to clean up. And also the drop passes. They had a few of those early, but as the game progressed, things got better. And as a result, the score. So what about that defense?
Defense. All right. So Michigan brings in the fifth ranked scoring defense, holding opponents to 16.4 points per game. They held both teams, Maryland and Michigan State, under that number. Maryland with 7, Michigan State with 10. Michigan has the third overall defense in the Big Ten, behind Ohio State and Wisconsin. They held they held Maryland to 104 yards passing, and they held Michigan State to 166 yard passing. Again, Michigan now is the third ranked defense, and they average 155 per game. Teams pass on them. So State was a little over, maybe 10 yards over, and but Maryland was under. So a good right there. Michigan is fourth in the Big Ten in sacks. They averaged 3.2 sacks a game, meaning they had 32 sacks in 10 games. Maryland, they had 3 sacks and 3.5 sacks on the Maryland game, and they had 3 sacks with the Michigan State game. So again, right there, rush defense. They're the 6th in the Big Ten in rush defense. Opponents average 107 yards per game on them. Maryland had 130 and Michigan State 55. That was very impressive. The whole Michigan State to 55 yards on the ground. It just seemed like every week somebody else is stepping up. Somebody else is stepping up, getting the job done on the defense. But I want to give a shout out, as you did, to some of the defensive players. So we got Kwity Paye, who's leading the team in tackles for loss. Khaleke Hudson leads the team in tackles. Josh Uche Wale is leading the team with 2 sacks. Lavert Hill and Ambry Thomas leads the team in interceptions. And then just some other players who've just been flat out balling. Josh Metellus, John Glasgow, Mike Dennon, Cam McGroom. I mean, these players have been balling again. Carlos Kemp, every week somebody else is stepping up. So it's hard to play chess. Again, I talked about playing chess and checkers, and with Belichick, he's going to take away your strongest opponent, whether if it's your front 4, he's going to add a tight end to kind of take that away. If it's the linebackers, he'll bring in fullbacks to kind of block and neutralize the linebackers. But I mean, this defense, every week, it seems like somebody else is stepping up. So overall team defense is balling out, and I think they're getting better and better. As Coach said that the offense was hitting their stride. I honestly believe the defense is hitting their stride, and you can see some of the speed that on the field, guys are quicker to the runner. The corners are knocking ball downs, things like that. So it's just something that, wasn't really accustomed to seeing, but now you can see the speed on the field. So with the next 2 games we have coming up, Indiana and Ohio State.
Which is going to be some challenges for the defense.
There are going to be some challenges for the defense, and it's going to be a good test. It's Indiana, a team like Indiana, but Indiana is the second it's number 2 in total offense in the Big Ten. They average 440 yards a game. They have the number 1 pass offense. Most people thought it was Ohio State, but Indiana, that offense is something. So this is going to be a great test. They have a lot of speed. So with that being said, if we stop an Indiana team, it'll be a good indication of how well we could do against the speed of the Ohio State.
Yeah, just the last couple of years, it seemed like Michigan has had its problems defensively, and it'd be nice to see Michigan go in and really kind of show their strength, as you were saying, with our defense, our speed, the matchup with Indiana, and I think that'll be a litmus test for Ohio State. And it just seems like Ohio State, they really studied those tapes when Michigan plays Indiana, and they kind of expose us. So it'd be good to see Michigan come out, be quick, fast, efficient on defense, and in terms, I think that'll prepare them for the Ohio State team. Both teams are going to be a challenge. So,
and then just to come out with different game plan. We tend to be predictable. So Ohio State, again, if you're studying Michigan, you gotta keep your opponents off guard and not let them see you coming on first down. Throw the ball, son.
And that's what, to me, that's what made the Michigan State game so impressive. The game plan was on point. Michigan got down by 7 points, but it's almost like that motivated them to be a little more creative, and we saw it. I mean, play after play after play, Michigan was aggressive. They did some things that I'm just not accustomed to them doing. I mean, typically Michigan would run, pass.
Pass.
But in this game against Michigan State, it was pass, run.
Yeah.
So just very efficient. And I think a lot of times when they get Shea involved in the run game, they have some plays for him. I think that helps him offensively with his arm. So hopefully we'll see more of that in the Indiana game. And I'm not jumping to Ohio State. Let's go ahead and dominate Indiana, and then we'll move over to the red letter game.
You talked about some of the freshman wide receivers. Can you comment on that? You were mentioning that earlier in our pregame.
Well, you just had Giles Jackson. He got his first touchdown. Those guys just look